Natalia Rivers stared at the two pink lines on the pregnancy test, her hands trembling as reality crashed down around her. The small bathroom at Hartwell Industries felt like it was closing in on her. 6 months of secret glances, stolen kisses, and hidden passion with Vincent Hartwell had led to this moment. She was carrying the baby of one of the most powerful men in the city, and he had no idea. Her phone buzzed with a message from him. Meeting in 10. Need you there. Simple, professional, exactly how they had to be during work hours. But Natalia knew what happened after everyone left. The way Vincent would pull her close, whisper how much he needed her, how she made him feel alive in ways he never thought possible. She wrapped the test in tissue and shoved it deep into her desk drawer, planning to take it home later. Right now, she needed to compose herself and get through this meeting without falling apart. How it all began. 6 months earlier, Natalia had been hired as Vincent's executive assistant. She had worked hard to get where she was, earning her business degree while working 2 jobs. This position was her dream come true, a chance to learn from one of the brightest minds in real estate development. Vincent was different from what she expected. Yes, he was demanding and brilliant, but he was also kind. He remembered her coffee order, asked about her mother's health, and actually listened when she spoke. During late nights finalizing the Riverside project, they started talking about more than just work. "You know what I admire about you, Natalia?" Vincent had said one evening as they reviewed contracts. "You never treat me like I'm just a bank account or a stepping stone. You see me as a person." She had looked up from her laptop, meeting those intense green eyes. "Because that's what you are. A person who works too hard and forgets to eat lunch." He had laughed, that genuine laugh that made her heart skip. "Guilty as charged. Tell you what, let me take you to dinner, a proper meal, not takeout at my desk." That dinner changed everything. Away from the office, Vincent was charming and surprisingly vulnerable. He talked about the pressure of living up to his father's expectations, about feeling lonely despite being surrounded by people who wanted something from him. "I don't want anything from you," Natalia had said honestly, "except maybe for you to stop responding to emails after midnight." His smile had been beautiful. "What if I told you those late-night emails are just an excuse to talk to you?" The confession hung between them, heavy with possibility. When he walked her to her car that night, he kissed her, soft at first, then deeper, more urgent. It was a kiss that promised everything and complicated everything. The secret romance. They agreed to keep their relationship hidden. Natalia refused to be seen as someone who slept her way to the top. Vincent understood, though it killed him to pretend she was just his assistant when she had become so much more. Their romance unfolded in shadows and stolen moments, weekend getaways to his beach house where they could be themselves without fear of judgment, quiet dinners in towns where nobody knew the Hartwell name, late nights in his office where professionalism dissolved into passion. "I love you," Vincent had told her one night, holding her close as rain pattered against the windows. "I know we said we'd keep this casual, but I can't anymore. You're everything to me, Natalia." She felt tears sting her eyes. "I love you too, more than I ever thought possible." But love in secret was still love in chains. They couldn't hold hands in public, couldn't attend events together, couldn't build a real future. Natalia told herself it was enough, that she could live with the hiding as long as she had him. Then came the morning sickness, the exhaustion, the missed period. The pregnancy test confirmed what her heart already knew. She was carrying Vincent's child, and everything was about to become impossibly complicated. The accidental discovery. Natalia made it through the meeting, taking notes and managing schedules while her mind screamed with anxiety. She had to tell Vincent. He deserved to know. But how do you tell a millionaire CEO that his secret girlfriend is pregnant when his family expects him to marry someone from their social circle? The day dragged on endlessly. By 5 o'clock, most employees had left. Natalia was packing her bag when she realized she had left important files in Vincent's office. She knocked, heard his distracted, "Come in," and entered to find him on the phone with his father. "Yes, Father, I understand the importance of the merger.
No, I haven't made a decision about Diana yet. His voice was tight with frustration. He saw Natalia, and his expression softened immediately, even as he continued the difficult conversation. Diana Matthews, Vincent's ex-fiancée from years ago, the woman his family had always wanted him to marry. Natalia felt sick. After Vincent hung up, he noticed her pale face. "Natalia, what's wrong? You've been off all day." "I'm fine, just tired. I came for the Patterson files." He stood, crossing to her with concern. "You're not fine. Talk to me." Before she could answer, his phone buzzed. A message from his secretary, Jessica. "Mr. Hartwell, I found something in Natalia's desk drawer while looking for the supplier contracts. I think you need to see this." Vincent frowned, opening his desk drawer where Jessica must have placed the item. His hand emerged, holding the wrapped pregnancy test. Time stopped as he carefully unwrapped it, staring at the 2 pink lines. His eyes lifted to Natalia, filled with shock, hope, fear, and 1,000 other emotions. The question that came out was barely a whisper, but it shattered the silence like thunder. "Is this yours? Are you pregnant?" Natalia's world tilted. This was not how she wanted him to find out. Not like this, not when he was dealing with family pressure and talk of Diana Matthews. But there was no going back now. "Yes," she whispered, tears finally spilling over. "I'm pregnant, Vincent, and yes, the baby is yours."
The pregnancy test fell from Vincent's hand, clattering onto his mahogany desk. For a moment that felt like eternity, he just stared at Natalia, his expression unreadable. She braced herself for anger, for accusations, for rejection. What she did not expect was for him to cross the distance between them in 3 long strides and pull her into his arms. "You're pregnant," he repeated, his voice thick with emotion. "We're having a baby." Natalia felt her legs weaken with relief. She buried her face in his chest, breathing in his familiar scent. "I was so scared to tell you. With everything happening with your father and Diana, I thought the timing was terrible." Vincent pulled back just enough to look into her eyes, his hands cupping her face with infinite tenderness. "The timing is perfect because it's with you. Natalia, I love you. This baby is a blessing, not a problem." "But your family won't see it that way," she said, voicing the fear that had been eating at her all day. "I'm not Diana Matthews. I don't come from money or the right social circles. Your father will think I trapped you." His jaw tightened. "My father doesn't get to decide who I love or who I build a life with. I've spent 35 years trying to please him, and where has it gotten me? Miserable and alone until you came into my life." He kissed her forehead, then her nose, then her lips with heartbreaking gentleness. "We're in this together, you, me, and our baby." The news spreads. The next morning, Vincent called an emergency meeting with his father. Natalia offered to come with him, but he insisted she rest. "I need to handle this man-to-man. He needs to understand that you're not negotiable." Robert Hartwell sat in his corner office overlooking the city, his silver hair perfectly styled, his suit impeccable. He looked every inch the patriarch who had built an empire from nothing. When Vincent entered, his father barely glanced up from the financial reports he was reviewing. "You wanted to see me urgently?" Robert's tone suggested he had more important matters to attend to. "I'm going to be a father," Vincent said without preamble. "Natalia's pregnant with my child." The silence that followed was deafening. Robert slowly set down his papers, his face hardening into an expression Vincent knew too well, disapproval mixed with calculation. "Natalia Rivers, your assistant." Robert's voice was ice. "Please tell me you're joking." "I've never been more serious about anything in my life. I love her, Father. We're together, and we're having this baby." Robert stood, his hands gripping the edge of his desk. Do you have any idea what you've done? We have the Meridian merger on the table. Diana's family controls half the commercial real estate in the Northeast. This relationship was supposed to secure our future. Diana and I broke up 3 years ago. She moved to London. Whatever business arrangement you were hoping for, it has nothing to do with my personal life. Everything is business, Vincent. When will you learn that? Robert's voice rose.
This girl, this assistant, she saw an opportunity and she took it, got herself pregnant to secure a piece of the Hartwell fortune. Vincent felt rage surge through him. Don't you dare speak about her that way. Natalia has more integrity in her little finger than most people in our social circle have in their entire bodies. She didn't tell me about the pregnancy because she was afraid of exactly this reaction. And she's smarter than I gave her credit for. She knew this would be a problem. The only problem here is your inability to see that money and status don't make a person worthy. Natalia makes me happy. She makes me want to be better. And now she's carrying my child. You can either accept that and be part of your grandchild's life, or you can stay bitter and alone. Vincent turned to leave, but his father's next words stopped him cold. Diana is back in town. I invited her to the charity gala this weekend. She's hoping to catch up with you. Diana's return. The charity gala was the social event of the season, and Vincent had no choice but to attend. As a major sponsor, his absence would raise questions. He insisted Natalia come with him. Public opinion be damned. "Are you sure?" she asked, as they got ready at his penthouse. She wore a stunning emerald dress that showed the smallest hint of her changing body. "Your father will be furious if we arrive together." "Let him be furious. I'm done hiding you like you're something to be ashamed of." Vincent adjusted his bow tie, looking devastatingly handsome in his tuxedo. "You're the woman I love, the mother of my child. Everyone is going to know that tonight." The ballroom glittered with chandeliers and champagne. The city's elite mingled in designer gowns. Vincent returned to the ballroom to find Natalia missing. Panic seized his chest until he spotted Claire gesturing toward the terrace. He found Natalia there, her eyes red from crying, and his heart broke at the sight. "What happened?" he demanded, pulling her close. "Diana happened. She said some things that got to me." Natalia wiped her eyes. "Vincent, maybe she's right. Maybe I'm not cut out for your world. I don't want our baby to suffer because of who I am." "Listen to me." Vincent tilted her chin up so she had to look at him. "You are everything. You are kind, brilliant, strong, and the woman I want to spend my life with. Anyone who can't see that doesn't deserve to be in our world." He took a deep breath. "I was going to wait for a more romantic moment, but I can't. Not when you're doubting yourself because of small-minded people." To Natalia's shock, Vincent dropped to one knee right there on the terrace. He pulled a small velvet box from his pocket, opening it to reveal a stunning diamond ring that caught the moonlight. "Natalia Rivers, you walked into my life and changed everything. You made me laugh, challenged me to be better, and showed me what real love feels like. I don't care what my father thinks or what society says. I want you. I want our baby. I want a life filled with your smile and your strength." His voice cracked with emotion. "Will you marry me?" Natalia's tears flowed freely now, but these were tears of joy. "Yes, 1,000 times yes." He slipped the ring onto her finger and stood, kissing her with a passion that made her forget everything else. When they finally broke apart, both breathless, Vincent took her hand. "Come with me. I have something to do." He led her back into the ballroom, where the gala was in full swing. Without hesitation, Vincent walked to the stage where the orchestra was playing. He signaled them to stop, and the music faded. Hundreds of curious faces turned toward him. "Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here tonight. Before we continue with the evening's festivities, I have an announcement to make." Vincent's voice rang clear and strong through the microphone. He reached for Natalia, pulling her up onto the stage beside him. Robert Hartwell's face went pale. Diana stood frozen near the bar, her champagne glass trembling in her hand. "Many of you know me as Vincent Hartwell, CEO of Hartwell Industries. Tonight, I want you to know me as something more important, as a man deeply in love." He turned to Natalia, his eyes shining. "This is Natalia Rivers. She's brilliant, compassionate, and the woman who has agreed to become my wife." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Cameras flashed as society reporters scrambled to capture the moment. "We're also expecting our first child," Vincent continued, his hand moving protectively to Natalia's stomach. "I know some of you will have opinions about our relationship. Some will say she's not from the right family or doesn't have the right connections. To those people, I say this: Natalia has something more valuable than any trust fund or family name. She has a genuine heart, incredible integrity, and the courage to love me for who I am, not what I'm worth." The ballroom was silent now, everyone hanging on his words. "My father built this company on the principle of strength and determination. Well, I've found those qualities in Natalia. She worked 2 jobs to put herself through college. She earned her position through merit, not connections. And she's taught me that real wealth isn't measured in bank accounts, but in the relationships we build and the love we share." Vincent's voice grew stronger. "So if anyone has a problem with my choice, with my family, they're welcome to leave, because Natalia and our child are my priority now. Anyone who wants to be part of my life needs to accept that." For a moment, nothing happened. Then, from the back of the room, someone started clapping. It was Thomas Chen, one of the oldest and most respected businessmen in the city. Others joined in, and soon the entire ballroom erupted in applause. Natalia felt overwhelmed by emotion. Vincent had just publicly chosen her over everything, risking business relationships and his father's approval. He had made her visible when society wanted to keep her hidden. The unexpected support. As they descended from the stage, people surrounded them with congratulations. Not everyone was sincere, Natalia could tell, but many seemed genuinely happy. Claire pushed through the crowd, hugging Natalia tight. "That was the most romantic thing I've ever seen," she whispered. "He really does love you." Even some of Robert's business associates approached Vincent, shaking his hand. "Takes courage to follow your heart," one elderly gentleman said. "Wish more young people did that." But Robert himself stood apart, his expression unreadable. Diana had disappeared entirely, slipping out a side exit. Natalia tried not to feel triumphant about that. This wasn't about beating Diana. It was about building a life with the man she loved. As the evening wore on, something unexpected happened. Margaret Hartwell, Vincent's mother, whom Natalia had only met briefly, approached them. She had been traveling abroad for months and had just returned for the gala. "Vincent, may I speak with you both privately?" Margaret's voice was gentle but firm. They followed her to a quiet study off the main hall. Margaret closed the door and turned to face them, her expression serious. Natalia braced herself for another lecture about social standing and appropriate matches. Instead, Margaret's face broke into a warm smile. "I'm going to be a grandmother." Vincent nodded. "Yes, Mother. I know this isn't what you and Father planned." "Plans change, darling, and sometimes they change for the better." Margaret moved to Natalia, taking her hands. "My dear, I owe you an apology. I've been so focused on what society expects that I forgot what matters most: happiness, love, family." Her eyes misted. "I've watched Vincent become more and more miserable